A failed leader who will go down in history as the worst president. But what happened when Donald Trump left his lucrative reality TV show for the political arena? After Trump left, The Apprentice, Arnold Schwarzenegger took over, but ratings plummeted, leading to a complete collapse. Schwarzenegger didn't hold back his feelings about Trump's presidency, especially after the January 6th chaos. He called Trump a loser and the worst president in history. However, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't limit himself to simple criticism. His goal was to draw attention to the damage he believed Donald Trump had inflicted on the United States. In a lengthy address, the former Republican governor of California expressed his support for Kamala Harris, emphasizing the need to close this chapter in American history. He expressed confidence that Trump was incapable of doing so, predicting a continuation of divisions, insults, and actions contrary to American values, leading only to increased public anger. After the tragic events of a particular day, Schwarzenegger released a powerful video address. It wasn't just the opinion of a celebrity, but a sincere and emotional statement that was hard to ignore. He spoke as someone who had lived through historical events and understood the dangers of extremism. His words took on special significance because they were based not on political beliefs or party affiliation but on fundamental principles of good and evil. He directly pointed out that the riots at the Capitol were a direct result of the lies spread by Trump and his refusal to accept the election results. Arnold, watching what was happening, saw not leadership but chaos. His voice was filled with anger and disappointment as he said that Trump would go down in history as one of the worst presidents. The fact that Donald Trump is now the most likely candidate from the Republican Party did not worry Arnold. In his opinion, Trump's dominance in the party would only make the job easier for the Democrats in the upcoming elections. Arnold was sad to see that the Republicans had failed to offer fresh faces, talented and intelligent leaders capable of leading the country in a Republican way. He expressed confidence that Trump had no chance of winning again. Even assuming Trump gets the Republican nomination, too many people remember his presidency, and on election day they will choose another candidate. Arnold is confident that voters will see the difference between the alternatives and make an informed choice. Undoubtedly, many express approval of the current presidency of B, recognizing its positive aspects, but at the same time noting the lack of alternative candidates capable of offering more effective management in the current situation. However, the situation becomes even more complicated when Arnold, known for his critical statements about the events of January 6th, draws parallels between them and Kristallnacht, a tragic episode in the history of Nazi Germany that occurred in 1938 and marked the beginning of the brutal persecution of the Jewish population. This comparison, made by a man born in Austria and deeply aware of the consequences of World War II, cannot fail to provoke serious reflection. Arnold, having survived the horrors of war, sees in the Capitol riot echoes of the violence that historical lessons warn against. His words carry enormous weight as he recalls how his own father and other members of his community succumbed to hateful ideologies. Arnold draws a connection between these dangerous sentiments and what he believes was provoked by Trump: the division of society, the fueling of anger, and the disregard for truth. His position underscores the importance of critically reflecting on historical events and their impact on the present, as well as the need to resist any manifestation of hatred and intolerance. It is rare to hear such candid statements from a former governor and world-renowned personality. Arnold Schwarzenegger's address was not just criticism but rather a warning. He sought to convey to the public the full seriousness of what had happened and the potential danger of further escalation. Schwarzenegger called on U.S. citizens to remember common values and defend democracy regardless of political beliefs. The question arises, should we ignore such weighty words from a person who has seen different sides of life, or should we listen to his opinion? Arnold didn't just condemn Trump's actions, he sounded the alarm, hoping that Americans would hear his call for vigilance and intolerance. As a European, he personally observed how the situation can get out of control. There is a fear, both in the U.S. and in the world, that something similar could happen here. Although there is no certainty that this will happen, it is necessary to be aware of the catastrophic consequences of selfishness and cynicism. Donald Trump's attempts to challenge the election results have sparked widespread public outcry. He was accused of attempting a coup based on spreading disinformation. Such actions, as experience shows, can mislead a significant portion of the population, which raises serious concerns. Some critics consider Trump an ineffective leader, predicting he will be remembered in history as one of the least successful presidents. There is hope that his influence will diminish over time. However, the question remains about the responsibility of those officials who supported his policies and spread questionable information. In this regard, Theodore Roosevelt's words are recalled: "Patriotism means allegiance to the country, not blind support for the president." This idea echoes John F. Kennedy's book Profiles in Courage, which analyzes examples of politicians who put the interests of the country above personal gain. Arnold Schwarzenegger, criticizing Trump's actions, emphasized that it is not just about mistakes, but also about the threat to the fundamental principles of the state. According to Schwarzenegger, Trump's behavior poses a danger to the future of the country if it is not properly assessed and lessons are not learned. Arnold expressed particular indignation at Trump's refusal to recognize the results of the 2020 presidential race. For him, this was not just a disagreement in views, but, in his opinion, a direct attack on democratic foundations. He was not shy in criticizing Trump's actions aimed at discrediting the election results, considering them alien to the American spirit. Arnold presented the situation as something beyond political debate, seeing it as a threat to the very foundations of democracy. He wondered what would happen if leaders began to arbitrarily choose which rules to follow and what place would be left for the people in that case. Arnold actively used platforms such as X, formerly Twitter, to spread his views. In one of his posts, he emphasized that leaders should inspire confidence, not sow doubt. In his opinion, Trump's dissemination of unfounded claims of election fraud was not only irresponsible but extremely dangerous. It provoked discord, contributed to the spread of conspiracy theories, and, most frighteningly, made U.S. citizens doubt the reliability of their own political system. Arnold Schwarzenegger expressed concern that such actions damage trust in institutions that have long demonstrated their stability. His words, spoken by a man known for his discipline and also holding star status, undoubtedly carry significant weight. President Trump's actions aimed at questioning the results of elections that were held fairly and openly were essentially an attempted coup based on misleading people through lies. As Schwarzenegger noted, such disinformation can have far-reaching consequences, affecting even close friends and acquaintances. According to Schwarzenegger, President Trump did not live up to expectations and will likely be remembered in history as one of the least successful leaders of the country. However, despite this, there is hope that over time his influence will weaken and he will lose his relevance. At the same time, the question arises about the responsibility of those elected officials who supported the spread of false information and thereby contributed to betrayal. In this regard, it is appropriate to recall Theodore Roosevelt's words that true patriotism lies in devotion to one's country and not in blind support for the president. At the same time, Arnold Schwarzenegger did not limit himself to criticism but offered a constructive approach to solving the problem. In his opinion, the primary task for America is healing and restoring unity. The famous public figure appealed to his fellow citizens to end the painful period of division and animosity that poisons society. In his speech, he expressed firm confidence that the country's further stay in a state of mutual recriminations and bitterness is unacceptable. The events in the Capitol became for him an alarming signal indicating a dangerous proximity to a catastrophe requiring immediate measures to correct the situation. A feature of the speech was that it sounded not as a political declaration but as a sincere appeal from a person deeply concerned about the fate of his country. He urged citizens to pay attention to what unites them and not to what divides them. It was emphasized that democracy is not just a leader or a party but a set of principles including honesty, fairness, and respect for established procedures. According to the speaker, these values should become priorities for ensuring the further progress of the country. His words were addressed not to a separate group but to all citizens regardless of their political views. He called on Republicans, Democrats, and independent voters to overcome their differences and restore the mutual trust necessary for consolidating society. Arnold expressed concern that a nation mired in endless strife risks losing its unity for good. His call for unity was not naive or overly optimistic. He realized that the recovery process would be difficult, but he believed in its feasibility. The main question was whether people were willing to listen and act. Can Americans overcome anger and build a future together, or will disagreements prevail? For Arnold, the choice was obvious. Recalling his Catholic upbringing, church attendance, and Bible study, he noted the importance of the servant's heart principle. This principle implies serving something greater than personal interests. Arnold emphasized that it is this quality, the willingness to serve society, that is now needed by elected officials. He called for public servants to put the interests of the country and its fundamental ideals above personal power or party affiliation, following the example that other countries are looking to. In recent days, many people from around the world have expressed their anxiety and concern about the situation in the United States. Some cannot even hold back tears, worrying about the fate of America. Arnold Schwarzenegger, known for his independence and unwillingness to follow the crowd, reaffirmed his reputation by supporting Kamala Harris. Despite his many years of affiliation with the Republican Party, Schwarzenegger did not hesitate to cross party lines to openly express his position. For him, it was more important to do what he thought was right for the country than to blindly adhere to political labels. The support for Kamala Harris, a representative of the Democratic Party, came as a surprise to many. However, Schwarzenegger has never been afraid to make controversial decisions. His motives were simple and compelling. He felt deeply disappointed in the direction both leading parties were heading and considered Donald Trump's leadership to be particularly destructive. This move underscored his willingness to put the country's interests above party loyalty. In a recent interview, Arnold Schwarzenegger shared his views on leadership and the current political situation in the United States. He emphasized that a true leader must have the ability to inspire people to unity and build trust in society. In his opinion, Kamala Harris best meets these criteria among all the candidates participating in the political race. Schwarzenegger noted that his choice is based not on party affiliation but on the personal qualities and vision of the candidate. During the discussion, the topic of federal charges against Donald Trump and the support he continues to receive from many high-ranking Republicans was touched upon. Schwarzenegger expressed the view that if the charges prove to be true, it could create serious problems for Trump. He also recalled the principle of presumption of innocence, according to which every person is considered innocent until proven guilty in court. Schwarzenegger expressed hope for a fair and objective trial. When asked about the possibility of Trump being re-elected as president, Schwarzenegger replied that he did not see such a likelihood, emphasizing that this was only his personal opinion. Arnold Schwarzenegger's decision to openly support Kamala Harris demonstrates his independence in thinking. He is not afraid of criticism from his party and does not seek to meet anyone's expectations, which underscores his commitment to his own beliefs and values. For Arnold, the nomination of Kamala Harris opened up the prospect of taking the country to a new level of development, overcoming the turmoil and disunity that, in his opinion, had become a hallmark of Trump's rule. Arnold's support for Kamala was driven not only by her professional qualities but also by disappointment with Trump's performance as president. Arnold openly disagreed with Trump's policies, especially those aspects that he believed were aimed at enriching the wealthy at the expense of average and low-income Americans. In particular, he criticized Trump's tax reforms, arguing that they disproportionately benefit the wealthiest citizens and increase economic inequality in society. In his opinion, Trump did not meet the requirements for the President of the United States and was characterized as unreliable, criminal, terrifying, a monster, crazy, and mentally unstable. However, Arnold was concerned not only with Trump's political platform but also with his rhetoric. He believed that it divides society, contributes to the spread of hostility and distrust, hindering constructive dialogue and cooperation. Arnold firmly believed that true leadership lies in the ability to unite people, not to create discord. In his view, Trump's actions only amplified existing divisions in American society, making it difficult to work together on critical issues such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure development. Expressing his support for Kamala Harris, Arnold urged all American citizens to participate in the election. He emphasized that his goal was not simply to encourage people to vote for a specific candidate, but to inspire them to choose the future of their country. Arnold called on Americans to overcome personal differences, focus on shared values, and move forward together toward progress. He stressed that participating in elections is not only a right but also a civic duty that provides an opportunity to shape the course of the nation's development. For Arnold, the election went beyond political struggle. It was about choosing the path America would take. Would it continue to deepen division and cultivate anger, or would it choose the path of unity and progress? Arnold expressed confidence that the answer to this question lies in the hands of the voters. He made it clear that transformations do not happen by the wave of a magic wand. However, a unified electoral process, a consolidated desire to prefer hope rather than succumb to the power of fear, can be a starting point. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments section below. If you found this material valuable and interesting, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. Other video materials are already available for viewing on